you're wondering about your own reputation at hand. I mean, you don't want to stand up for the kid who doesn't have any friends, but I mean, that's the line where people get separated from, I mean, the men from the boys here. I mean, the guys who actually can stand up for someone lower on the social pyramid are the ones that always rise. I mean, they always rise to the top.
And it's not
and
like,
those are the people that are president.
It's not like everybody necessarily has to be best friends with everybody, but just to give them a chance.
And I was gonna say, I think that acceptance is almost our ultimate goal, and that's what we want, but it's almost enough just to have tolerance when all you see are people being torn down constantly. It's like, what is it? We have acceptance, tolerance, and what's the word? Avoidance. And it's people are avoiding it, and if they're not avoiding, then they're absolutely trashing someone. Right. You just have to go. You don't even have to talk to the person.
It's almost
you don't have to talk about the person, but there's no reason to be behind their back.
They're not bothering you.
It's almost like you have an obligation to say something about somebody when you're at a point where somebody's different and you don't really know anything about them, and you have no desire to know anything about them, so you're just gonna trash talk about them. It's just the ignorant things that people say. Just to seem cooler.
And it's how rumors can get started because someone else will hear it and then they just want to be part of it. It's almost like a social thing, like, oh, if I don't spread this, like, well, you know,
and again, it's like judging
someone. It's almost like an addiction. People get addicted to talking about everyone else.
Yeah, like if you judge someone before you get to know them, like, you're allowed to not like someone after you know who they are.
You're not gonna like everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple of questions. I'm wondering. Do you have any data, or what do you look at to assess how pervasive the problems are at your schools? I know everybody, you know what's happening in your peer group, but like for instance, just on the district level, we collect data on bullying offenses, harassment, discrimination offenses.
A lot of ours go without being reported.
I was about to say, the data you have is probably so much lower than anything. Because the thing is, nothing's reported.
Either that or, we're blown out of proportion. There's two ways to look at it. We can always just, there's two ways, but I gotta believe
Teachers look away. Teachers don't really want to get
involved. Teachers know what's going on. Like, they'll know with the rumors, but they won't.
So let me ask you, the other thing is that we recently, and I don't know if you participated in it, but the district just completed a student learning condition survey. Did any of you guys participate in it? It would have been for students in grades 7, 9, and 11. Anybody in grades 11?
I'm 11.
Y'all didn't take the student learning condition survey?
I did.
I don't think I
Went to a computer lab.
It was it took like 5
minutes.
minutes.
We did.
Okay.
We did it in our English classes.
I didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember there were questions about bullying? It was about school climate.
I remember asking about my English teacher. Those are the questions. Maybe it was a different. They asked about our English teacher. Maybe it wasn't the same.
No, it's a learning condition. So they were asking in general about your whole school experience, whether your opinions are valued.
Oh, I remember that.
Okay, and then they'd ask also about bullying. So right now, the district has surveyed, I believe, 18 or 19,000 students. So we have that data now, and in about a month, your school's going to be getting their individual reports. That's going to say, what. And you're right in that, all the incidents don't get reported. But I think when students have an opportunity to complete an anonymous survey, do you think they'll be truthful though? I think if it's anonymous, it's more likely to be truthful.
Well, even the bullies themselves.
But I gotta believe it's like the significant occasions where it is like extreme bullying, but it's also the minor ones that don't get reported too. Like as I said before, the minor ones do add up to. That's the things that really.
Constantly getting a rumor.
If you're beat down every single day, you're gonna end up with.
Some questions are like, do you feel safe in your school?
I think it was physically safe though. So for some of us, I know we took it as yes, we feel physically safe, but and I know that I go to a small school because Weaver has 200 kids, so everyone's in your business. You know everything about everyone. You don't want to, but you do. It's like a small town. So we feel physically safe because we're a bunch of art kids. What are we gonna do? Hate you.
And something else is this is going back to our experiences. We've all gone to any town, and for us, bullying, so for me, because of any town, bullying is anything that would, really upset someone physically, emotionally, whatever it is. And for a survey like that, the kids that are doing the bullying or the kids that are completely apathetic to anything going on are going to say, yeah, I'm fine, and no, nothing's going on, because they just think bullying, oh, well, no one's getting beat up on in my class, and I'm okay.
There's different variations.
So I wonder if there is a role that young people can have in collecting data that would help to give useful information about the climate of schools.
Well, yours is the
Is
best
there
way, I
something
think.
that you guys could do?
So, see, I feel like if you talk to someone, talk to everyone personally, like, I know this is a lot, but if you said, do you think there's bullying? And you could tell if they were lying or not, like, personally, like...
I think you want to ask for their definition.
Yeah.
And then ask the questions. And if it's...
Because then they start realizing, oh, maybe there is.
Right. Or exactly. Or you give an example and we do a lot of these things, I know, with Any Days and with Any Town and with other workshops that we've done. You give examples and you say, is this bullying? Or is this someone being this? And some kids are like, oh, no, that's not. But or the stereotypes one where we do with Any Days. It's stereotypes. Is this a stereotype? And like, no, it's good. But actually it's a stereotype. So giving an example that people will think are counterintuitive.
Which is why
it's
everyone
not always their fault. That's like...
This is why everyone should go to Any Town.
Did you get that?
Well, I want to go back to what I've heard a little bit and circle back to Brenda's point, which is what I'm hearing is if we're talking about racism, diversity, and acceptance, we're going to get to some root ways to